Happy Monday. If you're watching on replay, let me know in the comments, #replay. And let's see, we're waiting for YouTube to set up. Let's get Facebook set up. All right. I think I got it so I can actually see comments too without too much fuss. So we'll give everybody a minute or two to pop on. Again, I feel like maybe my video started late. So if you're watching on replay, let me know in the comments, #replay. Melissa said it looks good, so that's awesome. We will just wait. Hi, Holly, working on so many things. I bet. We went to a vendor event this weekend, well, yesterday down in Davisburg, and there were so many cute handmade things that made me wish that I was making handmade things for people, but instead I bought handmade things for people because at least I'm supporting other small businesses. Some really cute stuff. Hello, Mama. Hi, Linda. Hi, Pam. Happy Thanksgiving. Hi, Nicole. Linda, thank you. Hopefully, well, I mean, this is how you know for sure that Facebook won't reverse my camera because I'm sure it's backwards to you guys. It looks backwards to me in my feed. So maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, it does. Maybe one of these gazillion updates, they'll actually change it so I can reverse the camera again. But in the meantime, this is what it is. Shar starting another sweater. Hi, Mary, working on your comeback again. Sherry, hello. Yeah, this was one of the things that I found yesterday. So there's a store called the Yellow Dog something. And it's a boutique in Clarkston, and it's a really cute place, and it's a mix of like commercial, um what do I say, like boutique style commercially made things, but then also they sell a lot of things on consignment from local vendors, a lot of handmade things which are really cool. And so they had a bunch of different types of shirts like this. They're all hand embroidered, well, machine embroidered, but done by hand, not made in mass quantities. And I thought it was just so cute. So hi Cindy, hi Sarah, hi Patty, working on your slipping sideways. Awesome. Yellow Dog Market. There we go. Thank you, Pam. Yeah, a really cool store. I was surprised. I have a friend that lives down that way and shops like I do. And I had asked her if she had been there and she'd never been there. So I was pretty excited to find it. Hi, Oriana. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I did get on a little bit late today, so I'm running late, so I apologize for that. But welcome to Monday Motivation. Today is Monday, November 24th, 2025. It's almost Thanksgiving. And before I forget, I did want to say hours are different this week because of Thanksgiving. Let me back up, finish my intro first, and then I'll get into that. My name is Kristen. I'm the owner of the Little Yarn Shop located in Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SVRC Marketplace. Normally, marketplace hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And the shop hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. This week, because it is Thanksgiving week, we are open 10 to 5 on Wednesday. The rest of the market is open 11 to 5 on Wednesday. So that would be the 26th. Everybody's closed Thursday for Thanksgiving. Friday and Saturday are everybody's hours are business as usual. I would recommend, as always, if you're coming to the market and want to check out some of the other vendors, if there's somebody specific, vendor that you're specifically coming to see, check their social medias just to make sure they're going to be open, because I don't have any control over that. So we will be open Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The rest of the market should be open 11 to 7. I do know Purple Sage Beads is going to be doing some Black Friday and Small Business Saturday specials. So make sure you swing in and see her while you're here as well. Uh, Sarah, hello, finishing up your Into the Woods MCAL. So tell me what you think of it. I've been looking at some of the pictures, but I think it was only like 2 weeks in when I was kind of scrolling through, so I couldn't see a lot about um what the finished product was going to look like. So I'm curious what your thoughts were overall about it. Okay. Where should I start? I have so many. I can't find my digital notebook and it's driving me crazy because I keep everything in there. And so now I've got these like mishmash notes and I don't know what to do with myself on that. So let's talk about finished things. Hi Joyce. I think last week I was just finishing up the brioche headband. Where'd I put it? I just had it here, you guys. I just had a whole pile of things. What did I do with them all? Seriously. Oh, they fell on the floor. If you've been in the shop and you know about the crazy pattern rug that we have under the table, you know that it hides things. So it is hiding all of my samples right now. They just blended right in. Gotta reach way over. Okay. So things that I finished. This headband my cat got a hold of. So I did have this done last week, but I blocked it. So it lays nice and flat now. It was kind of curling a little bit before when I showed it off. It's full of cat hair because I tried to block it on my radiator, and that's my cat Pearl's favorite place to be. So I'm choosing to believe she inadvertently got her claws caught in it, that it wasn't intentional that she dragged it across the floor. But it definitely um has a little bit more cat hair on it now than it did before, but now it's all nice and blocked, and I can't remember the name of this one. And I don't have my notes from last week, so I can't tell you. But it was the 2-color headband that I did with the Noventa that I talked about last week. But just wanted to show how it blocks out so nicely. The brioche twist headband is done. So just a plain old Kitchener, nope, mattress stitch to seam it up, because you don't do any provisional cast on or anything, just a standard cast on and bind off. It's not quite centered because I did the rows it called for, and then when it got to the length it needed to be, it wasn't quite centered, but I think it looks cute off center too. So that's the finished brioche twist headband, the Nexus headband and brim beanie. Okay, so this is the Nexus headband and brim beanie. One of the nice things about this pattern is for one price, you get the pattern written for, I believe, 3 different weights of yarn. So anything from worsted to super bulky, might be more, might be 4 weights of yarn. And then the brioche twist headband. Again, this is the one where I said last week, it's really unique because both colors of brioche are knit on the front and purled on the back. So it's a different style of brioche, but I really like it's stretchy and squishy, and it's got that big cable in there. So hello, Christopher. So that's all done and blocked and seamed. Karen knit up an 1898 Siemens watch cap with our custom color. So this is our custom color Decada in Malabrigo Rio. So worsted weight. If you've not done an 1898 hat for somebody in your life that spends any time outdoors in the winter or whose ears get really cold, this is a must do. So the 1898 Siemens watch cap is done where you start with this double thick brim. So this is all garter and you're knitting a big section of it. Like I can pull this, let me see. I can pull this apart so you can see how This is double thick. Then you fold it in half and pick up and knit the top of it. But it goes down over your ears. Super warm and cozy. I made one for Joe, who is our facilities maintenance guy here for when he's out snow plowing and stuff. He did some things for me as a favor. So I wanted him to have a nice cozy warm hat. Christopher also has one of these for when he's working on the roof or other things in the cold. Nice and cozy, one skein of worsted weight yarn. I know I've mentioned this in the past, but it's super fun. Karen has dropped down yarn size and needle size and made smaller versions of this because it is just kind of a one size hat. But now we've got one back in as a sample and it's knit in our custom color, which is really cool. So that was what Karen finished. Let's see. Sarah said there were 3 formants: balaclava, dicky, and hooded scarf. 1 or 2 color for each. I opted for the 1 color hooded scarf. And I like it for my granddaughter. Scarf goes down from 42 stitches to a point. I think I'd prefer myself a scarf that stays wide. Post a picture this week. Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll have to check it out. Yeah, so Sarah Romero is talking about the mystery knit along that Laura Nelkin has done the past couple of years that she just finished up. Yes, good. I'm glad you love it, babe. All right, so the big thing that I finished my mystery musicale, finished and blocked, you guys. And I'm so glad my kiddo was away at college because I needed the entire spare bed to block this thing. I don't know what happened to all my blocking mats, but I can only find 2 of them, which is not helpful when you're blocking a giant shawl. But I have to sit back or stand back in order to show this off because she's a beauty. But there she is. I can't even get it all on camera. It's so it's so massive. And always we joke after like the second clue, like how much is this really going to grow? But look at how much it grows. And of course, when you block it, it grows well. It grows a lot too. So 4 colors, well, it's supposed to be 4 weeks, 4 clues. Mine took just about 2 months, but I got it done. So I did the brioche border on the bottom and then a 2 color I-cord bind off. That little blip was really dark, but most of it is just the teal and the navy through the whole thing. But I love, love, love how it turned out. It's huge. It's beautiful. I like that it seems kind of like a 2 color shawl, even with the 4 colors. The I-cord took me almost a full day to do. Last Thursday, I was a little bit under the weather, so I stayed home and Karen Shoppe sat for me. And between naps on the couch, I was working on that I-cord bind off, and it took me a good portion of the day and then some the next day as well to get it done. But it's done and I love it. And so we talked a little bit about smaller shawls and how to wear them with these big ones. There are multiple options. So the first one, again, you can do the same thing. So if you hold it in front of you and kind of gather up the 2 ends, you can use it more like a scarf. Wrap it around, crisscross them in back, and layer it up. Because the scarf is bigger, it gives you sort of the Lenny Kravitz oversized scarf look. But still, this would tuck really nicely into your jacket without being too bulky. But options to wear it as a traditional scarf, as a traditional shawl, draped over your shoulders with one side up, with both sides up. Like Melissa mentioned with one of the other shawls, this is just a really big one. And you could pick which shoulder you want to put it on and which part of the shawl you want to show off, but you could also easily, trying to get the pretty side showing. You could easily drape it over one shoulder so you get to see all the really cool geometric designs. There's just so much going on, but I think the colors flow so nicely together. This one is big enough that for a lot of people, you could crisscross it around, tie it back. Or if you had a little shawl cuff, you could do that. But if you just tie it in a little knot in the back, it acts like a little shrug. And then you get both sides of the really cool graphic. So it's like if you had the dark shirt on underneath and just let it do its thing, it would just be a really cool statement piece. If you didn't like it crisscrossed in front, but you wanted it out of the way, you could do the same thing. Because this one's so long, I wouldn't try and tie it in back just to pull it back behind, but I would almost pinch the two sides together and put some sort of small pin in there where then it would stay out of the way and you would have this shrug look where it's just covering your shoulders and your arms. So lots of options on what to do with this. I mean, if you were making this and you had a mom in your life that was nursing, this would be an awesome nursing cover up too. So she's done. My mystery musicale blocked, all of the ends woven in. I need to go back and trim them now that it's been blocked. So a lot of times what I will do is weave in my ends before it's blocked, but I will cut them so they're not crazy long, but I will still leave like this much of a tail. Not that I don't have any to show, but of course I can't find any right now. So along here, you'll see there are some tails sticking out. So I will leave at least this much, if not more, of a tail. I will trim them down so they're not obnoxious, but still leave them long. Because when you block it and they stretch, those tails get kind of pulled into your knitting. And then sometimes things like this happen. And I'm not really sure what that is, but we're not going to worry about that right now. This little snag that's hanging out there. That will be tomorrow, Kristen's problem. As long as my yarn's not broken, and it's not. It just got snagged on something. So because I do not use point protectors or the stitch stoppers like I should, and this is what happens. Use stitch stoppers, because if you don't and your needles are just shoved into your bag, sometimes one will grab a loop of yarn and pull it, and then you end up with this fun to deal with. So tomorrow, Kristen is going to deal with that. My little note about what I'm going to talk about fell on the floor. So now we'll go back and trim all those ends now that it's been blocked and stretched out a little bit. I have to do that on shawls. On sweaters, if they don't show, I don't trim them. What am I working on? I am only actively working on one thing right now, and that is my retro sweater. I'm back to it. I'm almost done with my first sleeve. I just tried it on and it fits wonderfully. I may need to redo the bind off on the bottom because I think when the body of it relaxes, when I block it, the bind off might be a little too tight. Not a big deal. I can do that. But my first sleeve is almost done. I just started the ribbing this evening while I was talking to Melissa before we got started. So it has you do 3 inches, just like the bottom of the sweater, 3 inches of ribbing. So I had a little ways to go on that, but it's not very many stitches. So that should go pretty quickly. Julie says, I know where you can get some really cute stitch stoppers. I know. And I just got a bunch of Christmas ones that are so cute. And then I got some that say, let them. I still have a couple dumpster fires. I have some fun ones, you guys. Some mushrooms. Clearly, you can see I don't have any on here either. It's kind of like the cobbler's kids have no shoes sort of things. Why would I use my own tools? But first sleeve almost done, and then I can go on to the second one, and then I will have a finished sweater. You may have noticed there's very much a color theme between the mystery musicale shawl that I just finished and this project and the next yarn that I'm going to talk about. And that is all because they are all inspired by the same mood board, which was for our 10-year anniversary, which was our logo colors and the fact that we're in the Saginaw News building. So kind of a navy and a teal and blacks, whites, and grays. So a lot of what I'm doing right now are with our anniversary yarns. That's why they all kind of have that same, although we have kind of deemed this my Detroit Lions team sweater. But hopefully that will be done soon. Okay, we just got a shipment in today. It was sitting outside my door and I wanted to talk about sparkly threads to hold with your yarns. So last week I showed off the Vineyard Cowl. And if you've been in the shop, you can attest to the fact that in person, this sparkles so beautifully and the cameras just don't catch it. And it's such a bummer because the sparkle is subtle, but it's so beautiful. The natural or the cream colored thread is still on back order, but we got 3 colors. So we got burgundy, navy, and a really pale lilac. So this burgundy is kind of interesting because it's got the sparkles in it look blue almost, but it's because they have like, it's just enough. Let's see if I can wrap this in without making too much of a mess. So you can see the little sparkles, but you don't see the thread. So even though the thread's darker, it blends in really nicely. If you liked the idea of a red cowl in that, the Vineyard Cowl. So that cowl takes 2 skeins of DK weight yarn. What I used was the Seis Cabos. This is the first in a bunch of patterns that are being released by Malabrigo for the Seis Cabos yarn. So that's the burgundy. And then and so 2 skeins of the Seis Cabos, those are $18.50 a piece. And you need 1 of these cones of Make It Blumchen. And on Facebook, it's going to be backwards, but Make It Blumchen, which means make it flowers. We Googled that. I would have thought it would have been like make it sparkly or something like that, but 1 of these little cones is enough to do the cowl. You'll have some left over, but not enough to do 2. The navy. Hi, Donna. Not too late though. Look at how the sparkle shows up in the navy. See, now why can't it show up like that on my finished knitting? Because it's a lot more condensed in this, a lot more concentrated. When you're using it, holding it with another yarn, it's much more subtle. But look at how sparkly that is, you guys. It's so pretty. This would be absolutely stunning with that, with the blue Paris Night Seis Cabos. I'm just saying, somebody needs to do this because it would be gorgeous. As usual, if there's something I talk about that you're interested in, let us know in the comments with what you like, how many you want, colors, etc., whether you're going to pick it up or have us ship it to you. How would your cowl pattern look with that thread? Char, which one? This one? Is that the one you're talking about? The Vineyard Cowl? This has that thread in there. If you held it with the navy would be, I think somebody needs to do that. You should do that. You should do this for that Vineyard Cowl. It would be gorgeous. Holly, you need to do 2. Although you said you weren't doing sparkle. So this is the lilac, which is a really, really pale purple. If you got any of the grays, like the pearl tends to go kind of a purpley gray. And I think this would be Let me see. You can sort of see the thread, but I think if you held it with it throughout, it would blend right into it. And you can't really see the sparkle as much in this. That the navy just really, really sparkles. I know the blue is gorgeous. I was looking through our DK to see if we had a pale purple because I think that this lilac with a pale purple would be absolutely stunning, but I couldn't find anything over there. Sarah, okay, we'll set one aside for you. This, and keep in mind this, so these come in 10 cones in a bag. So we've got quite a few of these on hand. This sparkle would be great held with any yarn. You could take any fingering weight yarn. You could take a skein of Heritage if you wanted to keep kind of a low cost project, but you wanted a little sparkle in there. I see Melissa holding some stuff up over there. Yeah, with the burgundy. Yeah. So if you wanted a low cost project that was just a little bit flashier than a standard flat skein of Cascade Heritage sock yarn, those run $12.50, $12.99, depending on when we ordered it. But then for $6.50 more, you could hold something like this with it for any sort of project. Not socks probably, unless you did like on the cuffs maybe, but I wouldn't do it on the foot of a sock. But if you were doing a small cowl or a small shawl, holding that with another yarn would be beautiful as well. So those are the three colors that we did get in, and I think any of them would work beautifully for the vineyard cowl. Let me see how I'm doing on my notes here. Sparkles, 1898 hat. Oh, I've mentioned before. Okay, Julie, for sure. Deb and Ashley's Flurries cowl class that is coming up in January. Deb stopped in here tonight like she normally does before she went up to the front for help. And I asked her if she would leave this with me so I could show it off to you. So here is her sample of the Flurries cowl. So what are you learning in this cowl? You are learning to work with two strands, two colors of yarn at the same time. So this is, it's not Fair Isle, but it is called stranded color work. So you're working with two colors at the same time. So if you look at the inside, you'll see where all of this, the color you're not working is being carried and held along while you're working this. So it has a provisional cast on. You're learning that. You're learning to work with two colors to make sure that your tension is okay and it's not being pulled too tightly. So a portion of the cowl has this pretty intense two color pattern. And then once you get beyond that, the rest of the cowl is a simpler little snowflake pattern. Oh, there you go. Melissa answered your question, Donna, but I will answer as well. So I've got the burgundy, the navy, and well, it's actually a lilac color. So burgundy, navy, and this very pale lilac. So lots of techniques to be learned in this class. The girls put together kits. Those are posted on the page as well. One of the other things you're learning with this, because it calls for a DK weight yarn, but they're using fingering weight yarn, two strands held together. So that's a technique too in itself. One of the nice things about this, the way it's done is you're knitting a tube. And once you're done with the length of the tube, you're going to Kitchener it up. You're going to seam it up. So that's another technique. But what's nice about that is you don't really have to worry too much about catching floats if you have long strands. Like, where's a good example? Here's a good example. Where if you were doing a sweater, you would not want these long strands like this because put a sweater on, you take it off, your hands can get caught in there. Other things can get caught in there. But because this is done as a tube and going to be closed up, nobody's ever going to have the opportunity to snag those with anything. So it's, look at Deb's so smart. She's got little stitch stoppers on there. These little Nomi guys, they're so cute. Lots of different techniques going on with this. And I wanted to just show it in person so you could see how beautiful it is. 2 colors, that's it. Oh. Just stab myself with her little cable needle. Okay, so that's Deb's project for the Flurries class that starts in January. New things in the store. Feel like I'm talking so much. My throat's dry. I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week or not, but I found out that Knitter's Pride / Knit Pro is discontinuing their mindful needles. So they're keeping a similar style, but they're changing what they're calling it. They're changing their packaging. So no more teal cords, no more teal packaging, no more teal, the mindful sets with the zippered teal cases and stuff. So we do still have some in stock if you like them and you've been thinking about getting them. Get them before they're gone. It's not that they're a bad product. I guess they're just streamlining some things and changing the marketing of them. So hang on, I'm writing myself a note as I remembered something. What they are replacing them with are what they're calling their stilo needles. You'll notice if you look at the needle tips, they look very similar. I ordered a couple of the kits. So we've started to transition over with the individual 4-inch and 5-inch tips to the stilo because I can't get the mindful ones anymore, but they're pretty much identical. But I ordered a couple of the needle kits too because I wanted to see what they looked like. This is the 4-inch or 5-inch. 5-inch, they call it the Stilo Grande set. Stello? I think it's Stilo. Maybe it's Stello. It reminds me of the Chigu Forte set in terms of all of the things that it comes with. So it's got this pretty faux leather case. Open it up and it zips also. So it's not just a fold over case where everything could potentially slide out. It unzips. Got all your needle tips. So this is what used to be called like the deluxe interchangeable set. So it goes from US 2.5 up to a US 15, and it does include size 5s. So a lot of their sets, a lot of their specialty sets did not include size 5s. I think they realize that the US market is very much used to a size 5 and we want them in our kits. So it's in here. US 2.5 up to 15s, all the tips. Their cords are steel swivel cords in the set anyway, but they're pretty good in terms of not keeping all coiled up. They're very flexible. They're comparable to, Joyce was in the other day and we were talking about it because she is the grand lover of the Chigu needles. They're comparable to the Chigu red. Either they're small or they're large, not the minis. The minis are really, really flexible, but and these are swivel ends. The join where it swivels is really smooth. Like I can't run my nail along there and have it get there's no catch there, which is really nice for these needle tips or for these cords. I think Knit Pro is finally getting their quality control down a little bit. So this is the longest cords. This is the 40-inch, I'm assuming. comes with 2 each, 24, 32, and 40. So that's the 40-inch cord. But I really like the way everything snaps to keep your cords in place. So you've got 24, 32, and 40-inch cords. And then it's got this zipper compartment that has hairpin style stitch markers. We've been playing around with this one a little bit, so it's kind of out of order. Tape measure. Instructions on how to use interchangeable needles if you've not done that before. Cute little scissors. Metal markers. And end caps. So if your needles were on a project and you were to take them off and put them on a different project, because none of us ever does that. Those are in there. What else is down in? Well, apparently you get 6 of those little end caps. There are a bunch of those in there. And then this little package has the little pins or the keys to tighten your work or your needles onto the cords. So all of that comes in their deluxe kit. They have a 4-inch and 5-inch deluxe set. I only ordered the 5-inch right now, just again, because I was curious to see what it looked like. Tips on these are, I'm going to say they're pretty much identical or very similar to the Mindful tips that we had before. So I really think they're just rebranding everything with this Stello or Stilo name. So we got that. Keep in mind, we're going to start on Friday with our gift card promotion. So for every $50 in gift cards, you get $5 in fiber funds to spend in January. If you are thinking about getting yourself needles or anything like that, that's a great use of those funds. You can buy yourself a gift card and use the fiber funds and your gift card in January to buy yourself a set of needles or something else that you might be saving up for. And then I also got this little mini 2-inch interchangeable set. Again, same faux leather case, unsnaps and unzips. And this is the 2-inch interchangeable tips that go from 2.5s up to 10s in one kit. So similar to like the Chaigu kit, but the Chaigu has the 3 different sizes. They have the reds, the blues, and the yellows for 0 to 4, 5 to 8, and 9 to 11 or 9 to 15. I don't think it's 9 to 15, but this goes 2.5s up to 10s. This one doesn't have a 3. It goes 2.5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The cords that come with these are not swivel cords. They are fixed cords, which is what you want for a small circumference like that. The swivel ones could have the potential to get a little bit of a kink in there, but these are, again, super flexible cords. You get 4 of those. And you get some goodies. Goodies do you get with this one? End caps. A tapestry needle. I'm assuming the other one must have had one of these too. The little tapestry needle with it's almost like fishing wire on the end, which is great for larger yarns. The little tightening keys. So that is this little kit. And we've got more on their way to us soon. Along the lines of needles and Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, things coming up. We are discontinuing our carrying of Haya needles. We just don't really do much with them anymore, and it's more difficult for us to carry a wide variety that makes sense to have a full stock of the Hiya needles. So any Hiya products that we have, needles, needle accessories, anything like that, will be 40% off starting Friday, starting Black Friday, until they're gone. So that's not no special orders, anything like that. That's just Hiya cords. We do still have some interchangeable tips, a lot of the adapters, anything like that. So all of those are going to be 40% off starting Friday. I don't have any of that stuff listed online. That's strictly here in the store, but you are welcome to either message us or call us if there's something specific that you're looking for. And we can let you know what we have. So that'll be starting on Friday for Black Friday. The gift card promotion is starting. Also for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, I've decided we are going to do a promotion of 20% off any sock yarns that come in a pole skein. So any of the commercially dyed sock yarns, that would be any of these that are down in the low bins or off to the side over there, like this, a lot of the self-striping commercially dyed sock yarn, all of that will be 20% off Friday and Saturday. So if you've got people to knit for that you want to do socks, or you don't have to do socks, it's still great yarn for a multitude of projects. Most of them are self-striping. You could use them for like the sock arm sweater or a scarf or a lot of different things. But any of the self-striping, commercially dyed pulse skeins of sock yarn will be 20% off in store Friday and Saturday. And last but not least, we've got some limited edition kits that we have a limited quantity of. So Kelly, who is the dyer behind Just Be Fibers, was here on Saturday. She picked up her trunk show and she dropped off kits. She did a collaboration with Kristen, who is a bag maker down in the Macomb area. And her company is Sassy Bird Designs. And they came up with 3 different kits at 3 different price points that contain a project bag, 1, 2, or 4 skeins of yarn, yarn cozies for the number of skeins of yarn that come in the kit. You also get a coordinating notions bag. In the notions bag are stitch stoppers and a pair of scissors and one of the beaded row counters. And then each project bag also has suggested patterns for both knit and crochet. So 3 different sizes, 3 different price points. I will show all 3 to you. Those will be here until they're gone. But like I said, I have a limited number of all 3 of them. And they are in the store now. And so if there is one that you want, I'm not posting about it yet, but if you are watching and there's something you want, you can let us know in the comments or give us a call or send us a message and we will set one aside for you. You don't have to wait until Friday or Saturday for these. We're just not going to post about them until Friday. So the first one is a 1 skein project, and this is the gingerbread, guys. So look at these. It's like cute little gingerbread houses and gingerbread trucks. And each of the project bags has a handle with her little Sassy Bird Designs logo on there. Coordinating zippers. Some of the zippers are different colors. For this one, some of them are red and some of them are green. Each one has a little bird marker on the zipper. This one has 1 skein of fingering weight yarn. It looks like peppermint twist to me. I think it's so pretty. So the fingering weight yarn is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. Again, a card with pattern suggestions for both knit or crochet. Yarn cozy. So what's a yarn cozy? A yarn cozy is, well, what do they call it? Actually, they call it a fiber nest. Take your new yarn and tuck it into this fiber nest to keep your yarn cozy and neat. So it's a little elastic bag. It's got a box bottom on it. So if you wind your yarn into a cake, you can tuck it down in here and it will keep it from going all over the place and keep things more contained. So it's got that elastic at the top, her little logo on there. Look at how cute that is. So again, each size, if the kit comes with one skein of yarn, it comes with one whatever these are called, fiber nest. If it comes with 2 skeins, it comes with 2 of these. If it comes with 4 skeins, it comes with 4 of these. So this is the little 1 skein project. And then it comes with this little coordinating notions bag. They're so cute, you guys. Beaded row counter, stitch stoppers. This one's like a little peppermint and a little gingerbread guy, and scissors. Okay, so that's all of that. You get the fiber nest, the notions bag, project bag, skeining yarn, all the goodies in the notions bag. So the gingerbread guys, these are 110, and we've got 7 of those. I think I told Melissa is what we've got of these in stock. The 2 skein kits are the wintry snowflake design, and it sparkles, you guys. You know, that's right up my alley. This is a little bit larger. Well, are they the same size? They might be the same size. Yeah. So the 1 skein and the 2 skein kits, the project bag is the same size. These ones are a little bit sturdier. It's just probably just a sturdier fabric. This one comes with DK weight yarn, 2 skeins in this beautiful icy blue color. The DK is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. These are 246 yards each. So you get almost 500 yards of DK weight yarn. Again, pattern suggestions for 2 skein projects. You get 2 of the little fiber nest cozies. And it's cute. One's like in this set, one's dark gray and one's light gray on the top. So they're a little bit different. Melissa's telling Sarah it's a great Christmas gift idea for her coworker, for her favorite new coworker. And then look at the fabric on this little notions bag. It's so cute with these little snowmen on there. And snowman stitch stoppers, a blue beaded row counter, and scissors. All of that comes in there. So the 2 skein DK weight one is 150, and I only have 4 of these. I don't have very many of those. Or you 2 could buy them for each other. I think that would be a good idea. Okay, and then my favorite of all 3 of these is this baby, and you'll see why as soon as I show it to you, because it's very much right up my alley. Look at how beautiful this is, you guys. Look at this. So this is the mandala bag. Again, big handle on there. This is a larger project bag. So it's got 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn in this bad boy. It's got 1 skein of variegated. Again, these are back to the fingering weight yarn. So you've got 1 skein of variegated, and then blue, purple, pink. My YouTube feed is really blowing out the colors on this one because it looks like these 2 are almost identical, and they are not. They are very different. So if you get a chance to go over to the Facebook feed to at least see colors, they're a lot more accurate on Facebook than they are on YouTube. I don't know what the deal is with that. But this speckly is so pretty. It's got like the blues, the purples, and the pinks, everything in there, and then the 3 tonal coordinates. You could make yourself a really pretty mystery musicale with this. That would be something special. So that's got 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. It's got 4 fiber nest yarn cozies to go with it. And each one of these is a different color too. So there's a teal, a purple, a yellow, and a blue little edge on those. And then the coordinating little notions pouch. with all the same goodies, row counter, stitch stoppers, and scissors. And of course, the pattern suggestions for both knit and crochet ideas for that. So this one is $2.45, and I think I've got 7 of these as well. So these are here. Again, I won't be posting about them online until Friday, but if there's something that you want before then, just put it in the comments or message us and let us know, and we will set one aside for you. So, or tell your significant other, take a screenshot, pause it, go back and watch this later, pause it, take a screenshot and send it to your spouse or your kids and say, see this, get this from the Little Yarn Shop, call them up and tell them you want one. So those will all be available here. They'll be here in the store on Wednesday, so you can check them out. Let's see. I did get, I said I was going to be a short one tonight, and already it's almost 10 to 8. So sorry, you guys. Briefly, I'm going to mention we got our next shipment from Malabrigo of our custom yarn, the Decada color, which is this guy, that color, but we got it in super bulky in the Caracol. And this is what it looks like. Look at how gorgeous that is. I wanted to talk a little bit more about this, but I will do that next week because Nicole is working on, well, she finished a pair of gloves, a pair of mittens, and a hat out of one skein of the Caracol. It's a super bulky 90 yards of 100% superwash merino, and it's got that stained glass look because of that little braided wrap on there. So I wanted to talk more about that, but I will wait until next week. But I had to show it off because it's so pretty. So it is in the store and available for sale. I just don't have it out on the shelves yet. But it's right behind the counter. So it's here. The only other thing I wanted to talk about, if you're friends with me personally on Facebook, you will have seen that I posted about this, but there is a company called Chuck Wagon Food Pantry something, and it's WAGGIN. I can't remember the whole name of it, but I wanted to mention it. They were here as a vendor on Friday when we had the sip and shop. And then I saw them again, and I'm so happy I did. They were down in Davisburg yesterday, and I ordered more, or I bought more things from them. So this, it's a husband and wife, and they sell US sourced pet treats. Anything from for things for little dogs up to big dogs like mine, and mine are major chewers, but they're such good quality and such a good investment. Like they had these big, they looked like rolled rawhides, like the old school rawhides. And if you are a dog owner, you know rawhides are not good for your dog. They'll chew them into chunks, they'll swallow them, they'll expand in their stomachs, not good for them. Rawhides not good for them. But they have these rolled things. They look like the old school pale rawhide, but it's cow cheek. There we go. Chuck Wagon Pet Food Pantry. It was like $7 for this big thing. And I'm not kidding you. My dogs are super chewers. They will just lay on the floor once I give them something and chew until it's gone. And after like 2 hours, they got through like this much of the edge of one of these big things. For $7, that's crazy. And she had told me on Friday that that was her best seller and her most popular product. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I'm sure it's great, but I'm beyond impressed with it. It's so they don't really have an online store, but if you see them somewhere, it's worth stopping. If you have a dog lover in your life or you are a dog lover, all their products are great. They are a nonprofit. Their whole goal is that any of the funds that they raise, they buy pet food and they go to the shelters to in the food pantries and give pet food to people who are experiencing homelessness and having a hard time, because for some people their pet is the only source of joy that they have, and they want to make sure that the pets stay with their owners as much as possible, and they don't go into shelters. They don't end up, just being let go on the streets. Yes, Holly, get some for your grand fur babies. I actually bought a couple more for my dogs, but then I also bought one for my hairdresser because look what a good job she did on my hair when I was there on Saturday. And she has a pit bull, so I got one for her. I'm gonna drop it off to her because I think her dog would love it. But I've just been raving about it. I think it's a great mission, and I think they're a great company. And I'm just floored at the quality of the products. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. Okay, I think I've talked about enough tonight. So as a reminder, we're closing early on Wednesday. We'll be closing at 5. Deb does not have any class Wednesday night. Closed Thursday for Thanksgiving. And then regular hours Friday and Saturday, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. We talked about a lot of stuff. We'll have all that here in the store. So yeah, next week I'll have more things to talk about, you guys. You know how that goes. I never think I do. And then I sit down and start chatting and it just goes. So, um, again, if there's anything that I talked about that you're interested in, send us a message, put a comment on. Even if you're watching on a replay, you can put comments on the Facebook page. We do monitor that. I keep an eye on it and go back and check it out. So, I hope everybody has a great week. If you're not hosting for Thanksgiving, if you're going somewhere, I hope you enjoy. If you are hosting, I hope it's not too stressful for you. Mom and dad are hosting this year, so all I'm doing is the turkey, and I hope I don't mess it up. I'm doing sort of a trial run tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. If I don't see you here in the shop, I will be back here again next Monday at 7 o'clock.